Dereta, dereta, dereta. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, okay. Hop, 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 hop. No le mueva. Asparagus.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So in this video today, I wanted to discuss what were the hardest parts of didactic year. This was a question that I got asked from one of my subscribers, so I decided to make a video about didactic year. So for those of you who are about to start didactic year or interested into applying to BA school, I hope this video is helpful. So now that I have completed my first semester of clinical rotations, I think I can kind of distinguish what is the difference between clinical and didactic year PA school. So for didactic year PA school, of course, you're in the classroom Monday through Friday, and you have a lot of exams in comparison to your clinical year. So my clinical year, I only have 2 exams. I have my end of rotation exam, and then I have my OSCE exam. So just 2 exams for each rotation, versus when I was in my didactic year, I had probably like 5 or 4 exams every week. If not, I had an exam every week. So I had exams all the time. I feel like I felt more tired during my didactic year than my clinical year. And I would say that the hardest parts of didactic year were also how much material you have packed in during your didactic year, how many exams you have in. You have to make sure you have really good time management, making sure that you dedicate appropriate time to each class, and making sure that you study for each class also, not putting too much weight on this class or this class, because then in the end it's gonna bite you really bad. And I learned that mistake my first semester, and I made sure I didn't do that mistake again the subsequent semesters, and it really helped me because my grades started increasing after my first semester. So I would say the hardest parts of didactic year is just how much information you have. You have a lot of information. You're required to know. You're learning your anatomy, which is one of the classes I struggled so much. You're learning pharmacology. You're learning clinical medicine, which is how to treat, diagnose a patient. You're learning patient encounter, how to take a appropriate history, how to do appropriate physical exam. So you're learning all this, and it's just so much information. Also, in comparison to the amount of hours you're taking, I was taking about 17 hours per semester. I know some programs have more credit semester hours, but in comparison to my clinical year, which is like 15 hours, I mean, it's not as bad as during my didactic year. I have a little bit more free time during my clinical year in comparison to my didactic year. I feel like I never had free time on my didactic year, only after exams. Like if I had a lot of exams, then I would have a free time, but most of the time I didn't, because I had finished a round of exams and then I had to start studying for the next round of exams. So I would say those were the hardest things about didactic year, is that you're taking so many exams, you're learning so much information, and it's just so stressful in comparison to your second year. But it's really important that you make sure that you learn all the information, you learn it appropriately, whether it's your physiology, whether it's your pharmacology, because all this is going to come into play during your clinical rotation, guys. And if you get doctors like I did, like my ER doctor, who pimped you on everything from the mode of action of certain drugs to the pathophysiology of bacteria, to the physiology of the menstrual cycle, I wish I would have paid a lot more attention on these classes, and I probably would have been able to answer these questions a lot better. So that's why it's really important that you make sure that you learn the information well, and not just kind of like learn and dump. Make sure that you learn this information for the long run, not only for yourself, but also for the patients that you're going to be seeing, the patients you're going to be treating, for your future patients, because it's going to help you a lot during your clinical year. But yeah, I would say that these are the hardest things in didactic year, is just having time management. The amount of exams that you have, because you're having to study so much also. The days, sometimes are long. You're in class from 8 to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., then you still have to go home and study because you have an exam the next morning or the next day. And all the classes that you're taking, all the amounts of work that you have to do, all these assignments you have to turn in, and it's a lot. But trust me, it's gonna work out and it'll pay off for your clinical year, because in a clinical year, I feel like you have a lot more free time than your didactic year. So I would say these were the hardest things during didactic year, is just the amount of information you're learning, and also how many exams you're taking. Is just a lot, guys. But if I was able to make it, you guys are definitely able to make it, guys. Alright guys, if you have any questions, as always, make sure you comment below, or send me an email or any feedback in general. Just if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And as always, take care and thanks for watching my videos, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.